Welcome everyone to my channel, Pen and Journal. This is Jet. Today I'm going to disassemble the Montblanc Meisterstück 146. And if you know the story behind it, you know that my Montblanc leaks. I got this from an online auction. This is a vintage. So to cut the long story short, I did my own research to check out what could be wrong with the pen, and then found out that you pretty much need to get to the insides to troubleshoot the leak. So I found out that the proprietary tools used to open up the piston area as well as the nib collar area is pretty much expensive. You need to pay quite a lot to get the tools. I'm the kind of guy that likes to do things myself. I like to explore. I like to open up the pans, take a look. So I got my own tweezers. Right, so these are tweezers that you can get for cheap in the hardware store. They cost only a couple of dollars. So the first thing you need to do is you need to find the correct angle tweezers. You can see over here there are two. One is slightly angled, the other one is curved in. I'm not too sure you can see, but this one, there's a little bit of damage to the tweezers, but it still works fine. You just have to be careful when you put this into the holes of the locking mechanism, right? So first thing, of course, is to empty out the pen. If you have ink in the pen, make sure you remove whatever ink that is left in the barrel. Of course, unscrew the piston knob to access the two holes at the piston area. So over here, right, be very careful here. Right, the two knobs or the two holes is over here. So taking a pincers or your tweezers very carefully and very gently, right, insert it into the holes like this. Make sure you don't scratch the plastic. Right, try and do it over camera. Alright, and if you're doing this for the first time, you may need to apply quite a bit of a pressure to open up the piston knob here, or rather the piston fitting here, right? But I've done this many times. It came off. You can see that it comes off very easily, but if you're doing it for the first time, just take note that you may need to apply quite a bit of pressure, so be careful not to scratch the precious resin of your Montblanc. Right, once you got it out, you can feel that there's a bit of give. You can use your hands to turn out the brass fitting here. So one thing I noticed that my pen actually has a missing piece, right? Okay, once you unscrew this far enough, you can actually pull out the entire system like this, right? So this is the entire piece, but there should be a washer here, right? Over here, that should be a washer at this area. Mine doesn't come with the washer. I'm not too sure the function of the washer. I'm not too sure if that contributes to the leak, but nevertheless, I found that with a significant amount of silicone grease to the piston seal, I'm able to get the pen not to leak, right? But still to be confirmed, to be honest, but nevertheless, just know that you should have a golden washer here, so do not lose the washer. Right, so once you have taken it out like this, you can continue to unscrew the knob, and the piston shaft and the piston seal will come off like this. Right, so this is the piston seal. You can see that it's slightly damaged. I've sanded it down a little bit, smoothed it out with micro mesh, put a generous amount of silicone grease. It seems to help. You have to see, right? Still have a bit of water here and there. So what you can do is you can actually remove this like so. Okay, So for the piston knob area, right, this is the brass assembly. You can just continue to unscrew your knob, and you should be able to get these in two separate pieces like this. So once again, don't forget the washer, do not lose it. Right, so we have this done. Now we come to the nip collar. I'm going to use the other tweezers here. Right, so once again, be very careful not to scratch the nip. And once again, I don't hold responsibility for any damages to your Montblanc. Do this at your own risk. Remember that you are voiding warranty when you are disassembling it yourself. So for myself, tweezers, right, will go into the two slots here. And it's important to choose tweezers. If you can see, right, this tweezers, it does not touch the nip area. Right, through the camera you can see that the angle of the tweezers is important. In this case, it does not touch the nip area. It will not scratch the nip, and this is very important. And once you have it in place, turn anti-clockwise. And once again, if you're doing it for the first time, it may take quite a bit of a pressure, quite a bit of strength to remove it. But once you got it, right, all you need to do is just to unscrew the nip collar unit like this. Right, it comes out like this. You should see quite a bit of a pinkish silicone seal. This is Montblanc's proprietary silicone grease or silicone seal that they have. You can remove it, no problem. Right, I've removed mine. It's clean now. What I did is I just put my own silicone grease. In fact, the Twisby silicone grease, it does the same job, right? And then this section will come out like this, right? So this is pretty much how you disassemble the Montblanc 146 or maybe a 149. And to assemble back is pretty much the same thing. Let's do a quick one. Right, first thing is piston seal. Oops. Let's get it back in focus again. Right, for the piston seal. Right, attach it back to the shaft like so. It's pretty much doing everything in reverse. Don't forget the O-ring or the washer. For this, there's a trick to this, is that you need to, first thing, you need to screw this in. Right, for myself, I will screw it to a point where I can see a little bit of the shaft protruding out the brass fitting, putting in the piston shaft in like so. I'll screw it in. As you can see, when the knob reaches the end, you should be able to have a little bit of spacing. I find that I can still do a bit more. Right, so it may take a few tries. Okay, it's not too difficult actually. You can see once the knob reaches the end, I still got a little bit of space over here. This is good, right? So with this in, what I can do is, don't forget your washer, right? Just apply a generous amount of silicone grease around the piston seal. You can apply some on the brass area as well. Fit in, turn in, and you are okay. You're good to go. So right, check out the piston seal. Right, make sure you can turn the knob all the way to the end. Right, it's good. We're done with the piston assembly. And for nip collar, it's the same thing. Right, if you remove the pinkish silicone seal from Montblanc, make sure you apply a generous amount of silicone grease. Do not apply the grease in this area. Right, this is where the ink will flow. Apply it around the threads. And then for this area, the barrel area, right, you notice that as you put it in, there should be a fit, right? You can feel it. There's only one way in. You should be able to feel the fit. That once you have this flush to the barrel, put this in, screw it in, and for the nip unit area, right, you need to use the tool again. Right, again, be careful not to scratch your nib. Okay, if we can focus. Right, be very careful not to scratch your nib. Okay, and then give it a tight turn. Right, not too tight, but tight enough. Right, for the piston area, I find it that you can actually turn it and tighten it. It is good enough to hold. So there you have it, the disassembly and also the assembly of the Montblanc 146. I hope this helps everyone. Once again, remember that once you open up yourself, your voiding warranty, do your own risk, but I'm a risk taker. I love it. So thank you everyone for watching. If any questions, comments, place it down below. Take care, God bless, and see you guys in the next one.